Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Hot Desk, your quick tips and tricks on navigating the Real Desk platform. I'm Mark, your chief desk jockey. Today, by request, we're going to talk about double-end dual agency deals and how to associate and merge those deals. I still have a lot of memories going back to when we were first starting to build out the transaction room logic years ago about how complicated it was to make double-end and dual agency deals work. This is deal number 58 and it's a double-ended deal. As you can see, there's a listing side and a buying side. So the concept of it is that for transaction room document submission purposes, these are two separate pieces, right? But for conveyancing, for payments, reporting, lawyer information, they are considered as one deal and everything is done centrally. That's not easy from a logic perspective. Information systems generally don't work that way, and it still sometimes trips people up as well from a user experience point of view in terms of how do we make it so that a double-end deal works right. So I'm going to go over a couple of different ways to associate deals today. Let's jump into it. So when you're putting a double-end deal together, the most important thing to know is that the MLS number is what we're going to use as the key to determine whether a deal should be associated or not. So it's really important that you have that number correct. When you're submitting the listing side of the deal, the MLS number is just inherited from the listing, so I can't directly edit it here. The process of entering the deal is the same. I would enter commissions the same as I normally would. The only difference is that really, if this ends up being a double-ended or a dual agency deal, whatever I enter for the buying side is going to get thrown away, or there's going to be the opportunity at least to edit it later. So I'll just go ahead and set this. Similarly, the buyer's name isn't really going to matter because that's going to be overridden with the buying client once whoever's on the buying side adds that side of the deal. With other fields like the conditions, these will be brought into the buying side of the deal, but they'll also have the opportunity to add other conditions if I've missed some. So this part is sort of a collaborative effort. Same with the dates. But for the most part, the process is exactly the same. You would enter the listing side of the deal as you normally would. So now it's time for the buying side. So let's assume this is a double end. It's actually a different agent on the buying side. This buyer agent is going to enter the buying deal exactly as she normally would. Let's pick the client. We'll go in, and then this is really the moment of truth here. So I'm going to enter the same MLS number that we had on the listing side, and as I tab over or go away from that field, this warning dialog comes up. It says a deal already exists for this MLS number. Are you doing this deal with Mark Sykes? If so, the two deals need to be associated. This is the point where you really want to be sure about what you're doing, because if you do hit associate and then it turns out that it was just a mistype on the MLS or something like that, it's really hard to unmerge these deals once they've been associated. By contrast, you can click Do Not Associate, but in this case, it's not going to let you use that MLS number because that is the key that we use to determine if the two deals are the same. So you'll have to enter something different. But if you're pretty sure that this is the right MLS number, then that would be a good indication that it probably is something that you do want to associate. So let's go back to that case. Are you doing this deal with Mark Sykes? Yes, in fact, he is the agent on the other side of the deal. So let's go ahead and click Associate, and you'll see right away that this buying deal screen changes and the amount of information that I have to enter definitely drops quite a bit. So it will fill in the listing client information in addition to my side still, which is the buying side. It will infill the deal price and so on. It will infill the buying agent, right? So you remember that when I was on the listing side, I had done something completely different, and something completely different for the buyer's name as well. So all that gets overwritten. I'm able to go in and enter my own commissions. If I need to add a co-realtor or referral, I can do that in the usual way. You will see that the conditions that I had in the listing deal are brought here as well. If I need to make edits or add stuff, that's all fine. Same with the dates. So let me just quickly add my forms. Buyer rep and contract purchase and sale. Under details, because this is considered editing an existing deal, so you have to do that. I'm just going to say associating, because I'm just adding the buying side here. Try again, and it will submit it, and you'll notice that it says deal has been updated instead of new buyer deal submitted, and that just shows you that we have successfully added the buying side to the double end deal instead of creating a brand new buying deal. Now, as the admin or broker, if I click on this deal in the transaction room, you'll see that I'm going into the buying side. But if I look up this deal in the top nav, you can see that there's listing and buying side. So depending on where I click, this is actually going to take me to a completely different place, because the listing side is under a different client, Beverly Smith, than the buying side. And I can actually access either side independently of each other by going to the transaction log. I can either look at the listing side or the buying side. When I was talking earlier about a double end deal, is still considered to be two separate halves in terms of the transaction room and the documents. But you'll notice that for conveyance, send, receive payments, and so on, it's the same. That's the beauty, but also the complexity of the double end or the dual agency deal. We've seen a happy path for double ends, dual agency, where both agents get the MLS right, they do the associate, they answer the question correctly, and everything gets put together. What happens if somebody misses something somewhere? Because people do make mistakes. And one day, you're reviewing new buying deal, 97 Stewart Street, Toronto, you're reading through the details, and you start to think, this sounds kind of familiar. I feel like I've seen something for this address before. Let's take a look. 97 Stewart. Oh, look, there's a listing deal for this as well that was submitted fairly recently. Let's pull that up and compare the details. Here, as I've helpfully done this already in my other tab, and I start looking, and yeah, the address is the same, the deal price is the same. Why didn't they associate? Well, the original is N34325, and then perhaps this agent wasn't 100% sure, didn't understand the question, so he's put N4325A. Great. How do we put these deals together? Well, fortunately, there is a utility called the Merge Deals utility, and it's here under Tools. If I look under the buying deal, that was deal number 59, it will come up. If I look under listing deal, it's deal number 49. What then happens is basically sort of a data mapping or a comparison screen between the two deals, so that I can, in cases where the data might conflict, select the data that I want to bring into the merged deal. There are some pieces where we will automatically just take the correct info from each side of the deal. So we'll take the listing client from the listing side, we'll take the buying client from the buying side. We'll always keep the listing deal number. In this case, lawyers haven't been added. The MLS number, we probably want to keep this listing deal one, because I don't think that this one with an A added is really correct, right? So we can simply make that choice. Well, we probably want to have Mark as the listing agent and also as the buying agent, so this will be a dual agency deal. And then for the dates, since those are conflicting as well, we'll keep the ones that we think are right. Commissions, just merge. We'll keep the listing commission from the listing side of the deal, buying commission from the buying side of the deal, and then the forms will just automatically get associated to the side of the deal on which they were submitted. And again, this is another moment of truth. You want to be very careful and be sure that you've made all of these selections right and you're happy with all of this deal information, and that you're happy that these are two deals that need to be merged together. This is the same thing on both sides. Once you're happy with that, click Merge Deals, another confirmation, and now we've put them together. And it will function the same as any other dual agency or double end deal, where you've got a listing side and a buying side, but for conveyance and payout purposes, they will be the same deal. The only thing to mention with respect to this Merge Deals utility is that natively this only works on deals that are in the conditional stage. And that's a choice that we made when we developed this utility, which was not easy to develop even just with that limitation. But once you start getting into firm deals, it's possible that you can have conveyancing already sent, you can have payouts already done, and then you're just dealing with data that is much more difficult to merge. And of course, the consequences and risks are much higher if you start getting into that. So generally the advice is try to catch this as soon as you can. There are some cases where Even if there are lawyers added and things like that, as long as conveyancing hasn't been sent, as long as payouts haven't been made, we have had some clients that have been successful by just changing the status of the deals back to conditional, doing this merge, and then changing the merged deal back to firm again. We don't 100% guarantee that will work. You're also welcome to contact us for support, and we can help advise you on that. Sometimes we can even test that. Whenever you're doing any sort of merge, it's always a good idea to go in and check that merged deal information, make sure everything came over. If there's a deposit, making sure that that is still there, making sure that all the documents are still there. We haven't seen any problems with this, but it's always a good idea to check. But one thing as well to note is that that number that we had on the buying side before it was merged, deal 59, is now retired. It won't be used again. You'll notice that deal 59-2024 doesn't come up when I search for it because everything's been merged into deal 49, and we won't make another 59 as well. It'll skip to the next number in the sequence. That's all for dual agency and double end deals. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the Real Desk community, and please like and subscribe on YouTube.